Alright, so there was a Ashes of Creation dev update today. And so I guess we're not going to waste time and we'll just get into it. Just making sure that works, sorry. Alright, 3, 2, 1. Oh, wait, what? I think I skipped an ad, but I'll take it.
Hello and welcome, glorious Ashes of Creation community. We hope that you are having a wonderful month. Of course, this is our May development update. It has been a wild month for us. I feel like I say that every single time, but it's just like...
We do say it. We say it every time, and then we also say, after we say it every time, that we say it every time.
The wild thing to me is that we're almost halfway through the year, which is nuts.
I do agree.
I'm sure everyone else is feeling that way as well. Almost everyone I talked to.
2023 is almost halfway over, and someone dropped a like. Thank you.
Feels that way. But, of course, with me as always is Stephen Sharif, our creative director, and I am Margaret Crone, your director of communications. We hope that you are excited for today. I know we've been teasing a little bit of what's to come, but as always, what we're going to be covering today is reminders. We will also be showing off our Cyclops combat.
We also have a guest star, the kitty cat in the back.
Oh yes, this is
Who's
George.
That? George.
Hello, George.
George is...
Oh, here's the ads. Fastest gaming processor.
literally floating on a cloud.
Oh, okay. Screw you,
He's
processor.
lounging. I know,
Let's
I
go
got
back
cloud
to George.
vibes over here. I have Lucy on this side. She's
Lucy.
Lucy.
They've been over to our house a few times for the live streams.
She's purring. Yeah.
Aw.
I'm trying to get her to not stand in my monitor way because she keeps doing that. And then we'll have...
Thank you for the like. We're at 2 likes and we're not even 2 minutes in yet, so that's a good start.
Have our
Anton Devadatus. Woot woot.
update.
Oh, here's the ad. Okay, please don't do this every time I pause. I think it's gonna add me every time I pause. The first Ryzen 9 processor with upgradable with next-gen AM5 platform. AMD Ryzen 9. Mine's a Ryzen. My computer's a Ryzen. Hey, 3 likes. Hey, there we go. Let's get this party started. Who wants a vending machine full of jerky?
And studio update, and of course a little Q&A
Like, I don't mind. Never mind.
from our forums because y'all have been sending
We're here to react to stream, not Twitch commercials, so that one's on me. Also, we're at 4 likes, so we're going good.
us some great questions. But before that, we will be talking a little bit about reminders, and we've got our spotlight today for our YouTube comment. So if you would also like to be spotlighted as a YouTube comment,
5 likes, thank you. We're off to a great start.
you just need to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure
Remember, folks, every GPU is a future home for an escaped AI.
that you have
Oh, okay. Maybe I won't pause all constantly.
Not so much. So,
There's a lot of cats in this stream.
one oral tablet is all
She introduced her cats, and now I'm getting a flea commercial. So, you know, there's that. So, maybe I won't constantly pause the video. I don't think Twitch is gonna let that fly today.
Hey, look, it's a perfect family vacation. You can tell this is just a commercial because no one is complaining. Have you ever seen a real family smile this much?
Hey, buddy, we're smiling because we've been planning this vacation for months, and it's everything we hoped for.
We call it our paint the town red.
And yellow
And green.
trip to Texas.
This is our trip to Texas.
Go get your own.
Chat, you guys want to go to
Have,
Texas?
your subs visible so that we can see that you're a sub. And then leave us a comment on our development updates. So for May's development update, we will be selecting somebody for our next development update.
I'm
live stream.
afraid to pause it,
But
so I
this
think
one
I'm just gonna
is
let it
from
go.
Nice Gaming, who has actually been making some
Oh yeah.
YouTube videos, which we were like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I've been
but
watching those.
They're great, and
Yeah.
thanks, Nice. We appreciate it.
Oh,
They
good for
also do a
him.
lot of other
He
MMO
exists.
content as well. But their question is, can there be leaderboard stats or leaderboards/stats tracking?
I'm pretty sure I don't
to,
exist
track
anymore. My
miscellaneous
YouTube
player
channel
stats
peaked.
such as dungeons completed, PvP kills, caravans raided, caravan raids, caravans raided. There we go. Trees chopped, etc. And
Long way from Australia.
would these achievements be visible?
No, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm just gonna mute it for now on. If I have something to say, I'm just gonna mute it. I don't want to watch a progressive react. So, I'm sorry. And also, my ads keep increasing every time I pause it, so I'm just gonna mute it. I'm sorry about that, guys. Twitch has not been very nice to me today. Maybe I'll start a whole YouTube channel on just reacting to commercials.
Strawberry shortcake slush float. Crunchy.
Oh, I want Sonic.
Never forget the homemade water slide incident.
That ice cream looks really good.
Snowball slush float. Sonic.
I could also go for a Sonic burger right now. I'm kind of hungry.
The only batteries with power boost ingredients, making them the most advanced Duracell batteries ever. Put the power of Duracell in your devices.
That Duracell is not charging that
Or by
car.
other players?
Okay,
That
no more
is a
pausing
great
the video.
question. So first, to give you a little bit of context on the development side, from our perspective, we track all of those things, and we track many more things very granularly from a logging perspective, because it helps to inform the activities.
So if I have something to say, I'll just turn them
things
down.
that they
and
tend
then
to
I'll
stay
turn
away
it back
from,
up.
how long they
I
tend
think
to do
that's a
those
good way of
things.
avoiding all
And
these
a lot of
ads.
companies use just that data to kind of inform direction over design choices. I am very much a believer that you need to have correlating data that is essentially feedback directly from the player base, in addition to the logging and metrics that you can.
Also, I was so distracted by the ads, I forgot what the question actually was.
Navigational array moving forward. Now, to your question,
Oh,
which of those stats will we expose to the player side? I think we have a lot of intention to, and we've talked about this in the past, to have a lot of these things shown to the players and be able to, for those players to choose to share them or not through their character page on the website that we've talked about in the past as well. And those will include a lot of what you mentioned there. I think it's a really cool component that as a player, I get to see how I stack up against other players in the achievements that I've accomplished in game. And there's ways to make that that a bit more time focused, so where you're not just getting the gross data, but you're also getting like essentially seasonal data or partitioned via time. I think that's something that's super cool, and it helps provide motivation for players to achieve things in the game. So yes, we will be embracing those types of leaderboards and stats exposed to the players for Ashes.
Yes, it will be a lot of fun. We have many dreams that we want to do with game to web and game to mobile, in regards to showing stats and making things shareable for you. We know how social media works, how sharing content with friends works, but those things will all come in due time. Just a fair warning on that front. And of course, if you have
Looking forward to Ashes, but Steven puts me to sleep. He's very long-winded, right? He could turn a paragraph into a novel.
there and give us some comments, we would appreciate it. And of course, we have been doing dev discussions. Our latest one was on the Mage. So if you have not gotten a chance to toss your feedback in there, I know we already started compiling all of
Noah says, Ashes hype.
pop in there, even if the discussions have already been wrapped up. We don't want you to.
So I can't pause the video, or else we'll get like ads for Progressive and Texas and stuff. So
For those of you who have been participating in that discussion along the Made Showcase from last month, really exemplary job. I mean, that discussion was well done. I was
already hype.
responses. It was well articulated from a lot of you around the things you enjoyed, the things you'd like to see improvements on, the examples from other games that you enjoyed. Like, that thread was a treasure trove of player feedback, and I just want to say, you guys, those of you out there who participated in that discussion, kudos to you. Thank you very much. It is a very instrumental tool that the community team has an opportunity to concisely bring together and provide the developers. It is very helpful. And those of you who didn't participate in those discussions, totally fair, but I would encourage you in the future to get engaged, because there's nothing more valuable than hearing from you guys what you enjoy and what you'd like to see done differently. And I would say today's demonstration is not going to be any different. So as you guys kind of watch what we show you today, it's going to be very helpful for you to jump back in on the forums and across social media and give us your thoughts, because that's why we are doing this transparent development process, is to collect that feedback.
Yeah, and we've also been doing an office hours. We recently started advertising that on our social medias as well. And, Vaknar and Roshan have been doing a great job with that pilot program. So if it's something that you're interested in, where you can actually come in and talk and answer some of the questions as well, instead of just posting on the forums, you have that avenue. We know not everybody wants to type up a forum post, so if you'd rather talk and speak, that's another opportunity for you as well.
Yeah, and one of the last thing, and forgive me if I stand a little bit on a soapbox, but I, as a player of MMOs as well as we all are here at Intrepid, I get excited about announced projects and upcoming games that are coming out, and sometimes through normal development, there is not a level of transparency or insight into the moment-to-moment gameplay that's being expected on behalf of the player's side. And I think that's a really missed opportunity.
Okay, I will deal with the ad, but I kind of want to talk about this because I see both sides of the coin here. On one side, yes, it's great to be open about your development and make sure people know where you're going and make sure you have everyone on board and that stuff. I understand that too. But open development like Ashes of Creation or like those indie games, you do have burnout, right? When you're watching a game develop every month and it seems like it's making so much progress but never going anywhere. I kind of enjoy games that just kind of come out of nowhere, like Hi-Fi Rush and Anno Mutation, where they just kind of come out, you get to enjoy them, and, a fun game is a fun game. Where, as opposed to open development, as you're constantly following it, you kind of start to feel the burnout where you're like, oh, well, this game is further away than we thought. This is cool, but how far is the game and all that other stuff? So I actually don't mind development being behind closed doors, because it kind of lets you forget about it, right? And just move on to other things. That being said, let's watch an ad about Texas and Progressive, because I paused the video.
And I would speak to...
To you, it may just be an elevator.
Here goes nothing.
But for a young homeowner becoming their parents, it's a learning opportunity.
There's the Progressive ad.
The more the merrier. Paris, huh? Bonjour. We got any out-of-towners in the elevator?
Tom, it is not...
This guy's kind of a jerk.
Must be a heck of a view.
Okay.
Like, he's like, don't be your parents. Blah, 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 blah. Let's... Anton says, to be honest, Ashes is not nearly as open about development as they claim to be. there is no checklist of what needs to be completed before Alpha 2, do they tell us all has been updated? What? Nor do they tell us all that has been updated. So there's also that to think about too.
Racing. The only batteries with power boost ingredients, making them the most advanced Duracell batteries ever. Put the power of Duracell in your devices.
To the executives out there, to other developers who have a voice in the projects that they're participating in, to try to champion this thought of engaging with your community earlier on. And the reason...
Some may be down on Pantheon, but keep us more completely up to date.
Created is ready to ship, and it's I know there's downsides to it, and there's a level of investment that's required, but if something
up to
gives
date
you an opportunity to early on understand what the customer wants, that is a golden holy grail available to you. And
that is a double-edged sword, though. You can't make everyone happy.
Servicing the genre and the people, the beloved gamers who spend their free time, their hard-earned free time, enjoying these games, for them not to be surprised when the game comes out. Nobody wants to be surprised by what they're looking forward to, and a lot of time the hopium that we have around something we haven't seen before, or what we're expecting, is it lives up to our highest mountain peak of hope in our minds, and then when we see that thing, sometimes it's a bit deflated. But if you provide insight during development so that players have an understanding of what to expect when that game launches, then you mitigate a significant portion of the risk that's entailed in the creation of these massive projects, because you can identify where your approach resonates with a consumer base. And I know it's a soapbox, but I just feel recently, I had hopes as well, and I feel like it's a good point to make. Yes.
The hopium, I like that.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, and this is one of the things that I have loved about working at Intrepid and working for you, and you specifically, Stephen, is that I've worked at a lot of companies where community is not respected, and what a community team does and the feedback that they can relay, and the social media team, what their feedback can provide to the development team. Mm-hmm. If developers don't take that, I mean, you don't have to take you don't have to take it word for word. Like, just because people think something is overpowered doesn't mean you have to take action and make it more it underpowered, right? It's kind of thinking about that feedback and reflecting on it and making better decisions.
So I do believe that there is, you need to listen to your audience. Absolutely. One of the biggest offenders to this is Destiny, right? Where Destiny's just like, screw you, we know what you want, and then they just constantly do the same thing over and over and over again. Warcraft is also pretty bad about it. So I do believe you listen to your audience, but at the same time, don't bend the knee, or else you're going to have a big mess on your hands.
Or the executives that kind of make these decisions, and for they're constrained, they have fiduciary responsibilities to shareholders, they have projects, and they need to keep track of the proprietary information and designs and the KPIs, all those things. Understandable. But if one thing can be demonstrated through Ashes of Creation's development process, it's that we have garnered a large community of interested and resonated gamers who want to play this game, and we have a very clear picture of where that interest lies. We know who doesn't want to play it. We know the negative feedback we receive. We try to act on that negative feedback, right? But without the lines of communication being open, all of that is in the dark. And it's just not a place where a development that can take 5, 6, 7, 8 years should ever be before launch, is to be in that dark place. It's so antithetical to this concept of made for gamers by gamers. That is
Throne and Liberty and DOA. What's DOA?
It doesn't make sense, and it creates
It's not Dead or Alive, the fighting game, is it?
Mountain of risk when that game eventually launches. So I
There's a
didn't want to turn
balancing
this.
act
I'm
to
not
it, though.
shooting shots. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, totally.
Because there are
we don't
downsides to being in
show
open development too. There,
Right. And to be perfectly honest, like we don't show gray box levels and
Like Burnout. I feel like Burnout's the biggest thing about open development. Like I had a whole tyrant on it earlier. I had to watch a progressive ad for it.
we can parse through, right? And that we can say, okay, this is the direction we were already on. Good thing it resonated. Or wow, we were really off base here. We need to change some things up.
Dead on
And we
Arrival.
better do that because
Throne
the
and
life cycle
Liberty
of our
is
game,
Dead
the
on
longevity,
Arrival.
the
I
lifetime value of
mean,
the customer is at stake for that reason. So
it's not looking too good.
I want to take this opportunity because it's not often that I have the opportunity once a month here to speak with you guys, but also to potentially speak with any executive that might be listening. This is not a bad thing to engage the customer earlier. These players, MMO players, understand to a degree what development entails, and especially if you invest a bit in that conversation. You have the directors participating. You have an investment in community teams earlier on before the community is actually playing something to help garner that feedback and to parse it for the developers. Like, there is a treasure trove of information to be had amongst your consumer base. Engage with it. And then you can mitigate the risk.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to shoot shots. This is not a me shooting across the bow in the industry. I have love and respect for my fellow developers and fellow companies. I am just trying to offer what I feel is constructive feedback to help ensure that the genre gets the games it deserves.
Yeah, and people, developers want to make great games. Like Steven said, it's not always, on the individual. Sometimes you're doing.
I do believe that. I think devs really have their vision and their hearts and their souls, and they put their heart and soul into a game they make. But the companies above them are like, no, just push out cash grab like Call of Duty and whatever is hot at the time.
That we want to do, and I think that we want to, make the industry better as best as we can. And like Steven said, right now this is our platform that we have, but we'll be doing more streams in the future as we get closer and closer to launch and post-launch. But my final reminder is that we do have our Legion of the Rose. It's scheduled for June 14th at 11 a.m. Pacific. We'll be swapping it over with the next set. And of course, these are
It looks like Babes in Toyland.
buildings in the world. They help us build out the world of Vera. We'll have different variants of them. And actually, you're going to see some stuff in our art this week, which is really exciting. That is similar to some of those things. And with that, let's talk a little bit about Cyclops. And if you want, Steven, I know you wanted to kind of do a little preface.
I do want to preface this, and I think guys and gals out.
Yeah, I don't think devs show up to work thinking I'm gonna make a shit game today. No, I don't think so either. I think they just do what they're told.
Here and across.
I do believe the days of like old school Rare, the guys who did Banjo-Kazooie, Star Fox Adventures, and the guys who did Mario. Nintendo still does their own thing, so good for them. But I feel like in I don't know what word I'm looking for. Whatever word I'm looking for, I think those days are done. Unless you're looking for like an indie game or something.
You're going to see, and try to keep an eye out for this, right? You're gonna try to find some tree strikes, some kicks and tree slams, a totem charge, the root shear, some spore sprays, stomps and call spirits, the enraged root prisons and the root fissures and the enraged phase with his roar and stomp frenzy and the totemless charge. There's calling of dire spirits. There's a lot of different actions that can be taken by this raid boss. What we want to elicit from you is when you've encountered the raid bosses in other games, what did you enjoy most about those? Where do you see that occurring in this demonstration? And where do you see room for improvement? One thing I do want to convey, these 3 points, is earliest raid boss you see. 2 is we're all GMs. It's intended for a full raid. but we have two groups that are fighting it because it's a little bit difficult for us to corral all of our developers internally to jump in and
It's a lot of money.
yeah, I know, right? To jump in and take away time from the development. So we use a little bit of overpoweredness there. But then the third thing is the ambience, how this boss moves around the world, right? It's not just in a centralized location that's its arena per se. Like, this is a roaming monster. So
is he a raid boss or a world boss?
think about what did you
I do
enjoy?
want to clarify though, because people are saying GM. We're not using GM hacks though in this battle.
No, not GM
just to be
hacks. We're
clear,
just all
he's just saying
GMs
we're
with
GMs,
strong.
as in all of these are developers that are going to be like we're all game masters. We're not players.
Correct. And we're powerful, very powerful, but not GM hacking. No, we just know all the mechanics. So it's
Yeah,
it gives us
exactly.
an
We know
edge
what
because
we
the
know what we're
people who
coming up
designed
against.
it. Yeah, exactly. So we had a lot of fun. I think you guys are going to enjoy it, and yeah, we'll be on after to chat with you about it.
All right. See you in 20 minutes.
See you in 20 minutes. World boss. It's a world boss? I feel like they should clarify raid boss and world boss, right? Don't call a world boss a raid boss. Makes me think it's a raid boss. But it's not that big of a deal.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another live stream in the world of Vera.
That's a cool staff.
I am joined
I like
today
that
by
staff.
3 glorious developers. Actually, we have quite a few of our developers are participating in today's live stream. I'm not going to go through everyone. You'll see their usernames, their
sorry.
game handles on the top left
Look
side
how
of our
good
raid
those
UI.
trees look, though.
But
Those
I
trees look
have
really good.
3 amazing developers who are joining us today that have all taken part in helping to design the Cyclops and the combat that goes around it. I know you guys in the community have been very excited to kind of see today's demonstration. We're not going to get too elaborate in the designs of the Cyclops raid because we don't want to spoil it for you, but just as a disclaimer, this is one of the very first World Raid bosses that'll be available for players to participate in. So this is not super endgame, but it is going to give you some insight into how we're designing these encounters. And first up, we have one of our senior designers, Mr. Doug. How are you doing, Doug?
Doug.
Good evening. I'm doing pretty well. I'm excited to show this off. We've been working on it for a while, and so
Yeah. I'm super excited for you guys to show it off too. I know you guys have been hard at work on this one and a lot of other creatures. And this is your first time joining us on the stream, isn't that right?
that is correct. I have not streamed before.
Super
I have a buddy
exciting.
named
We have
Doug.
a stream virgin with us. Very cool. We also have with us one of our glorious senior technical designers, Mr. Jason. How you doing, Jason?
Hey, how's it going?
And you are the this one's your baby, right? This Cyclops was kind of your design.
Yeah, been plucking away at him
He's
for
like,
a while.
yeah.
I remember the first time we,
He's like,
we
yeah.
chatted about this guy. You had such a great kind of premise for his backstory and the design elements of it. I thought it was super cool. I love the detaching tree, which our viewers are going to see in a little bit. So I'm super excited that you have an opportunity to kind of talk with the community about this and get their take on some of these designs. And then we have one of our regularly occurring senior designers on the combat side, Mr. Trad. How you doing, Trad?
Doing great. Good to be back as always.
Yes, welcome. So we find ourselves here in the Riverlands, and it appears to be a winter time. It's beautiful. Actually, I really like it. So one of the first things I would love to chat with you guys about is kind of how you set up
I thought it was
this
summer in
particular
Alaska.
raid boss, the Cyclops.
I'm sorry.
In the Riverlands. Talk to me a little bit about his pathing. Like, where does he live in the world? What's his backstory? Just tell me things about him.
Yeah, I think you could take this one, Jason.
Oh, so yeah, like the Cyclops, his name is Tumak, and
Tumak?
A long time ago,
Tumak, or not
he,
Tumak?
you know, is from
That
the
is the
land
question.
of Sejoma, and that's where like all the Cyclopses are from. He decided it would be a good idea to try to align himself with the ancients that invaded Vera, and he took some of his followers to follow in those footsteps, and that didn't work out so well for him. He's
Is it weird to notice that the
remaining
spiders kind of
Cyclops
glitch out
of
from a
his,
distance?
you know, his people he took to try and join the ancients, and the rest of his people kind of exiled him for that, and they didn't want him back. So he's kind of all on his own, and is
And again, I'm sorry I can't
of
pause and
just aligning
commentate,
himself.
but if I do,
Okay,
I'm
so
gonna
he's got
get
a little
like
bit of a backstory, some pain in
progressive
there,
ads
maybe
from
some
Texas.
betrayal, and I guess he kind of turned against his fellow citizens of Vera. Where are you guys at, by the way? I know we have a couple parties that are hanging back at the camp. Oh, there you guys are. Why don't you come join me over here? I wanna talk a little about, you know, kind of his pathing, and I noticed that there are also some like winter spiders over here or something. What is going on over here?
Yeah, so there are some giant spiders over here, and one thing that we'd like to demonstrate today is that, you know, not every enemy in Vera is going to just behave like they're simple, you know, aggro immediately and beeline for you. The giant spider might not necessarily want to engage these scary looking adventurers, so he's going to stand off and, you know, hope that you know, back away. And
Oh, that is so creepy. I love the anim for this. So he's kind of not necessarily aggroing, but he's just like, don't come any closer.
Like peacocking.
Back off. Get away from me.
Yeah, he is kind of peacocking. I'm set to invulnerable because I want us to be able to kind of walk with the.
Doesn't Monster Hunter do that though?
But I
where
wild
some
animals
monsters
just, you know,
will
not every
attack
single
you,
wild
and then
animal is
some
gonna
will just
immediately
completely
beeline for
hurt you.
So
That's
the
a
kind of
Monster
behavior we
Hunter
wanna
thing, I
capture, some
think.
more ambient behaviors you might not expect to see in an MMO. Maybe some creatures hunting each other. You know, these kinds of, you know, more believable behaviors from wild animals.
That's super cool. Ooh, yeah, I like.
All right,
that's
I
awesome.
really
That's
want to
an
see a
element of it
terrain
that
fight
feel like.
between two monsters.
If you do
Oh
stay-
yes,
if you
it's
stay within their
Tumok,
range and
Tumok,
get too
Tumok,
close to them,
baby.
then
Better
they
run
might
for
defend
shelter,
themselves.
better run for shade.
That's super cool.
I
So
don't get
talk
the
to me a little
reference.
bit about the Cyclops and its path and how you guys kind of determine, you know, where this guy's going to roam and why it's an important aspect that the boss is kind of roaming through the woods, you know, or through the world.
Yeah,
Should have
so
drinking
we,
a
we
soda
work with
before
the
stream.
world team to decide what that path is going to be, and we want to make sure that that there's something of interest. You know, in Vera, no matter where
Oh,
you go,
there
there's
he
something-
is.
Vulnerable, just in case. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You're good.
Yeah, no matter where you look, no matter what path you go down, that there's always a chance you're going to see something you didn't expect or you didn't see before. So.
Oh, I love this guy. He's so massive, and I like how he kind of walks through the trees, triggering their destruction. Oh, that's so cool that he interacts with the environment like that.
Yeah, definitely gonna help you to listen. You can just listen in the woods, and if he's patrolling around, you're gonna hear him.
Oh my gosh, this guy's huge. Now, oh, sorry, my bad. I thought for a second there he was gonna aggro me. But just so you guys are aware in the stream, I've set myself to invulnerable so that we can kind of just walk near him and see his massive nature. And Doug, Jason, talk to me a little bit about the inspiration for this guy.
Carrying the tree is really cool, though. That's a nice touch.
Working with the character teams to kind of, I notice he has this massive tree. Talk to me a little bit about that element.
Yeah, I think that was actually a little bit improvised in the design based on what the character came back with, Jason, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, when the character artists were making this, they had this cool idea of just having this giant tree weapon that a Cyclops would hold. And we took that idea and just kind of embraced it, make it part of his character and the embellishments that he wears, and using that to kind of inform what type of encounter that he might be. So,
have you guys played D&D? If you look on like the character handbook or whatever it's called, the D&D handbook, this guy kind of reminds me of the cover art for the D&D guy, the D&D handbook.
What informs the design, so.
Oh, he looks great. The character did a great job with this. Do you know who's the character artist that worked on this? Was it Keith? I think it might have been Keith.
That's
either Keith or could have been Jency or somebody.
Yeah. They did a great job either way. I mean, it looks looks phenomenal. I know we have a couple of parties that are going to assist us with this particular fight. Talk to me a little bit about this encounter as a raid boss. You know, what is the expectation from the actual raid size that you guys are anticipating for the design?
I think that's gonna
Since
gonna vary
the
depending
70s,
on the level
yes.
of the raid, obviously, and then sort of how geared they are. But we're kind of aiming for somewhere between 16 and 32, probably depending again on level and equipment.
Very cool. So this guy's a really early kind of world boss, and we want to introduce players early to the idea of these raids. And by the way, as we're kind of chatting about this, those of you who are going to be helping us defeat this guy with our 2 parties, if you want to start heading over to the arena, we are waiting here for you. I will set myself off of
I
the
do
GM
think it's good
vulnerability
that
here. Let's see.
I'm sorry, I can't pause the video. I do think it's good that it feels like an MMO at the beginning of the game, you know, like when you play World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy especially, where you gotta get to the end of the game to experience end game, the MMO stuff.
You know, there are obviously phases, there's different elements
Where
of those
it's,
phases.
I like it when it's like, hey, here's group content, almost off the bat.
Yeah,
PSO
definitely
does
like
that
a
really good
more
too.
Introductory raiding experience.
Not New
so it's
Genesis,
gonna
but
be
the other
too
one.
complicated. But I think there are some really interesting mechanics regardless, and I think Jason can talk about those.
Yeah. So when I first started designing this guy, you know, we had Trad and the other guys on the archetype team looking at, you know, forming the classes that people have been seeing over the live stream, and you know, really before those kind of come to fruition. And knowing you know what the full abilities are and everything, I started the design with the core trinity in mind. So the roles are very obvious. Tanks will tank, healers will heal, and DPS will
marching in.
try to take down the targets that they need to.
And the
And starting
Saints
from there,
go
try
marching
to
in.
keep that in mind, not to
We're
overcomplicate it, so
gonna
that
kill that tomorrow.
they'll always have that like
Oh, when the
individual trinity
Saints
idea
go
amongst the different
marching
mechanics.
Yeah, so we got some classic staples in here. We've got, ads that off tanks are going to have to peel off, and crowd control that's going to need to be applied to those ads. We've got priority targets that are going to pop up that need to be killed. We've got, damage that's going to be unavoidable, so that, even with an expert group that can dodge all of his avoidable attacks, the healers are still going to have work to do to keep everyone alive.
Very cool. Very cool. Love it. You guys will notice, obviously, on the stream that there have been some updates to a little bit of the nameplates that Colby and the UI team have implemented, as well as some of the targeting plates as well. But who do we have as our tank today?
That would be me. Doug will be tanking.
Doug will be tanking. All right. Very cool. And then we also have, I'll be playing as a mage, but I will be trying to capture some good shots of the encounter to a degree. Trad, what are you playing?
I am a mage as well, just like you.
Oh, okay, very cool. And then how about you, Jason?
Mage Rage.
I'm playing the cleric.
Nice. Well, Doug, I don't want to stand in the way of your greatness, so please, by all means, sir, you may commence when ready.
All right, Leroy Jenkins.
Leroy, let's do this!
Try not to let me die, Jason.
Did he botch that reference?
Leroy
Jenkins. And he's like,
Oh
Leroy,
my
let's
God,
do
that
this.
looks
I'm
like
wait,
it
that's not how that
hurts.
goes.
Yeah, if you don't block
Call
that, you
yourself
get
an MMO
smushed.
player and you don't even know Leroy
I
Jenkins.
love his animation. So talk to me a little bit about some of these attacks. What do you got going on here, Jason and Doug?
I am kidding, guys. Don't take me too seriously.
So yeah, his first phase here, he has a lot of physical attacks, but he also employs a lot of attacks using his tree, like we see there with the roots hitting us. And right now, you can see he's pulling some fungus out of the tree and using that to heal himself. He has a tank spike attack where he smashes the
He's
tree
already
of the
almost
tank that
dead.
he was blocking earlier.
Well, not almost dead, but like,
and generally
his
does a
health
lot
is
of like
melting.
AoE splash damage that other melee will want to avoid and not stand together.
Yeah, he's not a particularly complex raid boss, but he's a great example of sort of what we want to do with large creatures in Ashes. Having them interact with the environment, having that camera shake, that, those knockdowns that make it feel like he is here and he is crushing you.
As no one is under 50% health.
Oh, he looks... Oh my God, he keeps just charging there. I'm just barely missing him. Now, talk to me a little bit about kind of the raid boss designs. Like, You guys are working with multiple stages. I noticed that right now he's
His
just
animations are really cool.
roaming
though. I'll give
around.
him
He has
that.
different targets on his hate list. Tell me, like, what's your general philosophy? How did you guys approach this?
Yeah, so I think Jason hinted this a little bit earlier, but we designed this boss pretty early on when a lot of the classes were still in their sort of nascent form. So we really just wanted to focus on the Trinity, you know, making sure that everyone has a purpose in this raid, a role, whether you're someone who's focused on CC, whether you're a tank, a healer, a DPS, you know, giving those classic mechanics to give everybody a job in the raid. Like right now, for instance, he's put this tree down, and there are going to be these healing caps that appear, and those are going to be a priority objective for DPS to take down before they grow to full size, because if they do, he's going to go over, he's going to stomp them, and he's going to get healed for a huge percentage of his health.
Okay, I like that. That's cool.
Wow.
I do like mechanics like that.
So we got to take this tree out.
Where instead of
because he's
being
just
like a
gonna
big
keep
health
healing.
sponge, you actually gotta like.
Yeah, and you
focus
definitely
on the
got to
fight,
switch
so
over to
that's
those
good.
healing caps when they appear.
Man, that tree
That's
is
super cool.
tanky.
So he heals off of the mushrooms as well?
Yeah, and as a player, if you destroy them, or even if he stomps on them, if you happen to be nearby when they blow up, you can get that heal as well. So if you're taking some damage from the thorns from the tree, or you got hit by one of his large, stomp attacks, you know, you might have a chance to get healed up if you run over to those mushrooms before they blow up.
Okay, we almost have this tree down. Come on, guys, focus it down. Focus major DPS on the tree. Let's try to kill this thing. It's almost done. Get it before he picks it up. Yes, everything. Release it all. Oh, well done. Uh-oh. Oh
He's gonna
my
Hulk it up now.
God. Why is he so mad?
He does not like when you break his weapon.
What the heck?
I mean, who would?
Jason, where'd you get the idea for the kind of tree totem?
A lot of that came from the original design that we got from character art. In that we really enjoyed the way that it synergized with his look, so we wanted to employ the use of the tree as like a core part of his encounter. And we ended up using it as like a magical tree where he gets a lot of his abilities, but without that, he seems to get really mad.
Now the
and his
team's
more
getting
primal
hit.
Cyclops giant
I was
nature
kind of
comes
worried
back
because no
as
one
we see
was
here.
under like 50% health. I'm like, he might be a bit too easy.
Oh, that's cool. So talk to me
Well, it
about
looks like
those
they're
kind of
doing it,
slams
so.
that he's doing. And also, I noticed, like, as he's running around,
Also, these
the
are
trees
devs,
falling,
so they already
the
know how it
stone
works,
obelisks
so there's
are
that.
kind of getting destroyed. Is there intent for these kind of environmental hazards to exist as well as part of the raid design?
Yeah, absolutely. For our large creatures, you know, cyclopses, dragons, things like that, we want to make sure that the world feels dynamic and it's reacting to their big size. You know, if a huge, 20-meter tall beast is walking through the woods and not knocking down a single tree, that just doesn't feel believable. So we want to make sure that, you're going to hear that, and that's going to be a way you can know in the distance
I like
there's
this a
something
lot
you wanna
more
go
than
and
Final
investigate.
Fantasy 14.
That is super cool.
I don't know
died,
what to say to
but
that.
I'm on my way back.
No, those slams hurt.
He's
really
just
bad.
running away?
Yeah, one of the aspects of the phases in this fight is actually that he has those healing abilities when he has his totem tree, his nature magic, but
That
and he
jump
is more
was
primal
super
when he's in this phase.
anticlimactic. He just
As a
kinda-
result, you can take him down a little quicker when
He
he's
just kinda
enraged,
moved a
but
step
it's
forward.
also going to
Oh,
be a
that
lot
glitch?
more incoming damage for your
Y'all
healers
see
to
that?
work through. So, depending
Where's
on your
that guy
raid
going?
composition, your equipment level, you might want to sustain longer in that earlier phase, even if it takes a while through all that healing. Because if you push him too early, you might just wipe.
Oh, I love it, guys.
Here he goes again.
Oh, no, 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 no!
Finish him.
God! Oh.
I was getting crushed
Oh,
there. It's right under his fists.
Drop loot.
Oh, this poor guy. Look at him. His little eye. Wow, that was very cool. Well done, guys. That was awesome. Does he have any loot? Can we loot him? I wonder. Sword of the Briarholm, a longbow. A short bow and a mace. Ooh, very nice. Well, that was a lot of fun. Very well done. I thought that was very cool. Guys, as you guys are watching this, remember, obviously this is one of the earliest world bosses in Ashes of Creation that you'll have an opportunity to encounter, just getting your feet wet and what the raid boss system's going to look like. We have a lot of fun designs that are intended with a lot of different creatures. But give us your feedback. What are the raid bosses you enjoyed in other games that you've played? What about the mechanics? What about the phases that you thought were cool? What did you enjoy seeing here today? And what would you like to see in the future? But otherwise,
I want to see a
Trad,
big old
Jason,
dragon.
Doug, thank you guys for joining us and giving us a little sneak peek under the hood of the
But no,
encounter design,
I enjoyed that
particularly as it relates to Tumok the Wretched. I thought that was
If I had to
super
say
cool, a
one
lot
thing,
of fun.
I'm gonna turn it down. Sorry, because if I pause it, we'll see a bunch of Texas and progressive. But
and we will see everyone
I think that was really cool. But I know these guys are devs, so they already know what they're doing. But there's a part of me that's like, maybe that was too easy. But it's early game, so I'll let that one fly. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Yeah, I think it's fine. I can't think of anything to complain about.
Obviously, we recorded this in 4K. We will be uploading it in 4K on YouTube. I know there were some comments regarding graphics. We were...
It seems just right for a level 30 world boss.
folks.
Yeah.
So we kind of had to figure out a different recording system in order to make sure everybody's quality was the same level because they're different PCs. So just keep that in mind. But we will upload that after this stream. In regards to the no GM comments, I meant no, we didn't use commands during the Cyclops fight, not necessarily before that, because as soon as I said that, Stephen, you used the thing to walk next to him, I'm like, crap.
I didn't want him to aggro me, so I was, I wanted to get perspective.
But he turned that off, because obviously he had to be able to fight. And you saw that, Stephen died a couple times there.
Yeah, and
if you were looking at the UI.
I might have been the only person that died. But just to be clear, remember that we are still in our journey to Alpha 2. And as a result of that journey, the phase of development that we are currently in with the project doesn't really emphasize polish or performance or optimization. So you're gonna see some. Oh, I have my pen because I was taking notes from chat. You're gonna see some. You're going to see some room for improvement there, right? Also, I'm running this, on a 4K monitor and 4K stream, and I'm streaming at the same time, or excuse me, recording at the same time. So, some of the FPS is going to get improved. It'll be much better. But, yeah, let's get to some of the questions that you guys had in chat about the boss.
Yeah. And also, I know we had mentioned that we were talking about whether Keith had designed the model, and Keith did design the model. So just wanted to clarify on that front. But the first question we have here is, Tumok didn't leave footprints behind like our player characters did. Will big creatures like that, or any creatures, leave behind footprints?
Yeah, so general overpopulation mobs will not leave footprints. However,
yeah, it's just too
the
much for the
monsters
engine.
like this and raid
it's
bosses
such a
and,
small little detail to like
dungeon
worry
bosses,
about.
They will have footprints. They were just not enabled for him in this showcase yet.
And then, what are the respawn rates on world bosses? That's a very generic question. Then
it depends. It depends on the world boss. We want to. The general philosophy is that respawns will be variable. We don't want to have set specific times in which respawns will occur, so that they can be kind of camped and farmed. But there'll be variable location respawns as well as variable time respawns. And then that's kind of, provides opportunities for different parties to engage at different times and locations.
Cool. And then I'm also playing this in the background, so you guys are getting to see it a little bit more while we talk. Next one here is, will Tumok destroying trees affect the growth and replenishment of trees in the world? And also, if animals hunt one another, will that affect respawn rates of those animals?
Astute observation, whoever asked that question. Yes, the answer is yes. There are land management systems that we've talked about in the past, and there is certain interactions that can occur that can affect those systems. So, yes.
And
Him
then
knocking
we'll-
down trees too long is not going to be a good thing for the area.
Yeah, so you probably want to. As much as he was just going for a stroll, because I saw someone in chat, I was laughing. I told Steven, I was like, I love this comment. Someone in chat was like, of course he's mad and raging. He was just going for a walk, a little stroll, and you guys are killing him. You're monsters.
Hey, this guy is responsible for some pretty horrific things. So he's not just an innocent Cyclops out for a stroll. Let's be clear.
He has it better
Siding with
than
the
the Monster
baddies.
Hunter hunters.
And
And
the
the
next one
monster,
here
monster,
is will
monsters.
ground shake for large
Hunter
bosses.
monsters. Monster
Be
Hunter
something that
monsters.
we'll see in the future. Can
Yes.
you turn off the screen
One
shake?
of those was correct.
Yeah, you know, there is something to be had there about those types of screen shake effects. We want them to be present when we're emphasizing certain things, but we don't want them to be a nuisance or annoying or too plentiful. And having screen shake apply to every step would probably be too abundant. Will players have control over those on-screen type effects? Yeah, I think so. I think that's something we want to provision as a customizable option for players to be able to turn off, because it can be somewhat nauseating for certain groups of people and a distraction from what's happening in the world.
And then, will world bosses become different or higher level as the node levels? How will these world bosses scale when it comes to player levels? Is it based on players or the zone? Players or the zone. Yeah.
So the question was, sorry, I missed the first part.
Yeah. Will world bosses become different or higher level as nodes level? Is the first
I see.
part of that.
Yes. Okay. So world bosses are pretty defined in their challenge rating, and we don't have an approach that is scaling for content, right? We feel that kind of cheapens the content when you apply a scaling mechanic, so that this content is constantly relevant. There are ways that the world responds and changes to the node's development. Those are prescribed, those are curated, those are meaningful, and we want them to be experienced by the players, but not all content is going to be scalable like we've seen in some modern MMOs.
And then the other part of that, yeah, I guess was, will world bosses scale when it comes to player levels? And is it based on players or the zone itself leveling?
They will not scale based on player level, no. So this is a level 30 boss, and he will be relevant for a 9-level spread up or down from that level 30 position.
Okay. And then people are wondering, will bosses or the Cyclops actually get voice lines or things of that sort?
Yeah, bosses. Certain bosses will have.
He looks like he
audio
made that up
cues,
on the spot. He's
that
like,
might be in the form of
sure, why
language, it
not?
might be in the
We'll do
form
that.
of indistinguishable sounds. But yes, bosses and some even creatures will have audio cues to use.
And then I do see some folks asking in
He
chat
carefully crafted
regarding
that.
about, if
They
this
asked about
is an
voice
open world
lines, and
boss,
he's like,
then
"Oh
that
yeah,
means
they'll
other
have
players
audio
could
cues."
attack me
So-
and my homies, and also
Just
attack the
saying.
monster that I'm attacking, and how we plan to address that situation in regards to maybe
Yes.
large guilds coming in and
Sure,
murdering people
sure.
and stealing their boss.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've talked about this in the past. Content in Ashes of Creation is divided into open world content and instanced content. The ratio of content division there is about 80-20, 80 being open world, 20 being instance. That remains true. When we talk about the ability for competition to exist around limited resources or scarcity, world bosses fall into that category of scarcity and or limited resources. They are essentially a resource that you can defeat in order to acquire things you need for your character progression. And as a result of that, it is healthy to encounter potential friction and or competition with other groups of players who are interested in acquiring that scarce resource.
I understand what he's going for, but I'm just kind of afraid that the hardcore Korean gamers or something are just gonna camp the holy hell out of everything, and no one else is allowed to have fun. But we'll have to see.
By that effort. Now, there are mechanisms, there are tools, there are systems
wizard
that
glitched
allow
out.
for you to establish reputations with these other groups of players, to pursue them outside of this encounter, to hinder them in such a way where they might think twice whether or not they want to engage with your group. There are avenues that can be taken, both political as well as systemic, where players can engage with those factions. And it's important to note that Ashes of Creation is a non-faction based game. What that means is you're not told who your enemy and your friend is. You are not restricted with the players that you can participate in content with. Instead, that choice is left to you, the players. And that is an element of the sandbox environment that we're trying to create with Ashes of Creation.
All right. And then the next question here is less about the Cyclops boss. And people were noticing that folks were carrying around these blue orby type of things, and they were wondering what those are.
All we are saying is give PvP a chance.
Yeah.
So those are sigils. Oh, I'm sorry, not sigils. My mind is totally blanking right now. Those are essentially acumen instruments that you can use to enhance your spellcasting. They replace a shield offhand item that players can. Somebody in Slack, if you can remember the name of those things, shoot it over to me real quick in a DM. Yeah, those are essentially offhand items that players can use in order to enhance their casting ability and or healing and whatnot. They are called focuses. Thank you. Yeah, spell focus. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And that is it. We're gonna have many.
And by the way,
go ahead.
Real quick, the spell focuses can take many different forms. You saw an orb there. The spell focus could be a book. It could be a shrunken head. It could be something kind of really interesting. But it's a way for non-shield users or non-sigil users to incorporate an element into their offhand if they want to be a one-handed weapon user.
And of course, we could be here all day if we answered questions forever, but we do have some other things to show you all, and we do have some other questions to get to from the forums. But as always, we would love your feedback. We will have a Cyclops combat preview / live stream feedback thread that's going to be over on our forums. Please definitely go check it out and give us some thoughts. As Steven said, this helps us ensure that
almost
we're
fell asleep on stream.
Right,
That would have been awkward.
So please give us some of your thoughts. And I know sometimes it can be hard because you're like just watching something versus experiencing it. But when you get into Alpha 2, you'll be able to experience it and give us that side of the feedback as well.
I feel like Alpha 2 is so far
We'll get
away,
both ends
though.
of it, but at least we can address some of your concerns just from visually seeing it as well. And with that, unless you have anything else, Steven, I'm going to head on over to our character goodies.
No, I don't think so.
Thinking hard.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. As
Fish.
you maybe noticed, we've been doing some profession goodness.
I
You can
don't
see
know
some
what I was
trees and
expecting, but it
lumberjacking,
wasn't
and,
fish.
we're working towards some good old fishing. There are a lot of fish that have been being created. Some of them are really strange
I was
looking.
not expecting
as I'm
that.
sure y'all will see here. But Chris, Jan, Jinsey, and Priscilla and Keith have been making a ton of them. So
It's a fish.
the
I don't know how to
seas of
comment on
Vera
it.
Will be plenty.
That's
You'll
a
definitely be
piranha
getting
fish.
Your fill of good fishies to cook and fish up and trade. I'm excited
It's
for
a
y'all to-
fish.
to see those.
It's a
They're
fish.
gorgeous.
I love
Like
the little
it's a fish.
Some of them are.
I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's a fish. It's fishy. It swims. It
And
flies.
a few of them, I feel like the chat is going to have thoughts about.
They say
Like the
that
lamprey are the grossest.
They say that the night is dark and full of terror, but what they really forget is that the seas are deep and full
Yeah.
of horror.
Have you ever gone scuba diving or anything like that?
I have. One time we had a guild. So my guild, I always used to have these like trips that we would take,
Ew.
some of our officers and some guild members and stuff. And one year we went to Hawaii, and there was like 13 of us, and none of us had scuba dived before except for one person, I think, in the party. and I chartered this boat to take us out to go scuba diving. And they're like, well, you have to go through this like process, the certification thing.
You're like,
and
nah.
I was like, just take us out somewhere that's cool, and we'll just kind of jump in the water and do our thing. And so one of our friends, who's a big boy, he got into his swimsuit, and he gets in with this snorkel, and they're teaching him the little device, the buoyancy thing that takes you up or down. You press the button, and they're teaching him the hand signals. So like, this is swimmer's okay, this is like not okay, or whatever, right? And we're underwater, and he's like floating up here. He can't get his mask thing on very well, and he's pressing the button because he's kind of sinking. And as he's slowly sinking under the water, he's pressing the wrong button, and he doesn't know.
Yeah, he's pressing the button to make it go up.
He's pressing the button to make him go down, but he thought he was pressing the button to make him go up. And so his face is just falling like under the water. He doesn't have his mask on. And in his last words of moment, he just says, I'm going to need some help here. And then he goes under the water. My ear was bleeding. And like John wanted to swim to shore. We're like a mile and a half out. It was just a terrible.
This sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah,
I had a lovely time scuba diving, complete opposite of that. But I think one of the things that is, because you were saying how like it's, dark and full of terrors, but I think that the beauty of being underwater is it's like so quiet, but there's like a lot of life going on around you, which I think is really exciting.
Some of which want to eat you.
Yeah, there were some sharks, like tiger sharks, that swam by us, but the people that we were with that were taking us they were like, they're not interested in you. They have enough food here, so as long as you're not.
I have a fear of like wide open spaces, and anytime I can't see what's beneath me and it's just like darkness, that scares me. And so being in the water, out in the middle of the ocean, where I don't have a corner to back
I
against,
legitimately don't know what to say. I'm just gonna let them tell their
I just
fishy
feel
story.
like at any moment some giant shark is just going
Because
to come
if
out
I
of the
say
depths of
anything,
darkness
it'll
and
just
eat me or
come off as
something.
mean, and then I'll be a jerk, and I don't
Like,
want
my
to be a
mind
jerk.
the amount of fantasy games and movies that I've watched, like I just go to a dark place immediately and thinking about some kraken like monster.
See, I have the opposite. I think for me in the water, I think because I can swim and move and maneuver, I'm okay. It's heights for me because I can see what's down there and I can see how far away it is to me, and it horrifies me that I might fall and to my death.
No, I'm with you on the heights too. Yeah. For sure.
All right,
It's not the
moving on
fall
from
that kills you, it's the
uh,
landing.
Now that we're all horrified by underwater creatures and heights.
David Tilley,
we also have
art!
piglets.
No!
You've been seeing sheep, cows, piglets. We're, getting the farming and profession stuff going, which is really exciting.
I missed
I'm
the whole
super excited for
reaction!
I love farming and games and stuff. Next up, we've got
that sucks.
a
That
Borderlands
sucks.
variant. I love their beards. They're so cute.
They're so
Ah,
good.
it's
They're so cute. They look
Super
like
Zane Timon.
just grumpy otters, and I'm into it. The next one here is our Hydra Swans, and then we also have like a variant of it. So for those of you who have the regular Hydra Swan, which thank you for supporting us. We also have the variant here.
Oh, thank you
And
for the
Steven,
like.
I saw that you gave a story behind how this came to be. You
Yes.
talked
I'll
about it on Twitter.
rewatch
I don't know
it.
if you want to share that with folks.
I'll
who maybe
rewatch
don't
it,
use
though.
Twitter.
Oh, I just geese and swan in general.
I like hearing
are
about the
just
sea.
wretched creatures. Like they're
Somewhere
beautiful, but they're mean as all
being
hell.
on the sea.
And when I was a kid, we used to live on a lake.
Don't
or live near a lake.
copyright
And,
me.
I would go feed these things, and when they had babies, I didn't know.
I
that they
told
got
you if I
protected,
was
and
at
they would
9,
fly
I'd be
and
late.
attack
I
me
was
as I'm
hoping
trying to
it'd be
climb
10,
away
but it's
from them
okay.
and peck me in
My
the
10.
back and just-
Like, it's
I
10:52
vowed
for
from that
me
day
right
forward
now.
That if I ever created an MMO at 7 years old, I was thinking to myself, maybe I'll make an MMO one day. That I would create this as a creation.
I'm the streamer.
Actually,
The
I made
world
it
runs on my
Ashes of
time.
Creation original.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Pathfinder
That came off
campaign,
super
Hydra
douchebaggy, but I was just
that
joking.
I just
I
took
was
the
trying to
template
make a
of the
joke, and
actual
it came
Hydra
off
monster,
legitly
and I gave
douchebaggy.
them a bunch of beak attacks.
So that's
they were
on
like
me.
D6s -2
Yeah.
or something, and it was like level 2 party, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's a Hydra Swan!" I'm like, "Yeah, don't feed it bread. That thing will kill you."
That's really funny. I love that. I might have to pull that on one of my people in the future for one of my campaigns.
I want to play
We got
D&D.
this lovely
I've been thinking
snake
about it a
boy.
lot lately. I want to play D&D, but I can't find a group in my
I
small
love that
city.
they did the Apple.
Ah,
thing
I
with
thought
it.
we were the same time.
The animations
You're
that our
from
team
Arizona?
always comes up with
Because
for
I'm
the
Mountain
things is
Time, and then
amazing.
somewhere in
Intricacies.
Arizona it becomes your
And
time.
then we've got the 7th Lancer.
It's okay, rerun off your
uniform.
time with the tear in his
Oh,
eye.
it looks great.
Yes. They look so scary.
Well, that looks kind of cool.
Oh, I have those backwards. We've got the diadem for our royal folks out there.
It's a crown.
Gray Shore conveyor.
Super cool.
Yes, we are.
Got some arcane garbs.
Oh, who made the arcane garbs?
The arcane garbs were by Jan.
Jan,
Jan, those look great.
when you rewatch it, you should leave a
have all the
comment
names
just
for
saying
everybody
I
this time.
rewatched it or something and
Stephen
help
always
with
asks
the
me, and I'm like,
algorithm.
I don't know. There's a million art pieces.
I hate to be one of those
Who
guys,
did
but my
the,
YouTube channel
the
hasn't been doing so
variant
good.
for the
It doesn't bug me that
the
much
This one?
because, you know, I'm
No,
a
the
janitor in real life and I think I have life figured
that's
out.
Jinsey work right there.
But that being said, my YouTube channel has not been doing good. It kind of bugs me. I'm also Mountain Time, but I don't do daylight.
Jade
Oh,
Sigil.
that's it. You guys
wish
don't do daylight savings
Oh, that
time.
looks great.
God
Look at
bless
that.
Arizona.
Looks really great. The Jade Sigil one was Jan as well.
Jan, great job.
And same with the Merc.
Don't worry, I'll leave a comment. Oh, I got added up. Well, oh, you missed a ton of ads earlier in the stream. Every time I paused it, Twitch is like, oh, here's a Progressive commercial. Here's a commercial about Texas. And I got a Sonic commercial that really made me hungry.
Let's get some singles and me on the bike.
I wanted to stream this game so badly, but I'm so afraid of Nintendo. Because I know they hit small streamers like me. But legitly, I wanted to play Zelda. I'm always spam your long videos whenever something comes up I have a question about that I think is funny, or just something I say just because. I gotta love ads. Yep. Nope. I've been added like all night.
And then we've got another plate set. Jan's just killing it.
That looks like
Get some,
King
Jan.
Arthur's.
And then we've got the Trowlers, the part of the Trowlers outfit.
Oh, what does that remind me of?
I believe I have an MP.
Ah, that reminds me of something. I know it does.
Yes.
I
This
know
set
it
was really
does. I
fun to
can't.
design.
Can you use the hat
I
as
swear
the,
that
like,
reminds
the-
me of
the
something
thing
from
you carry,
Zelda.
but you just flip it over and put all the fish in it and hold it like up?
I was thinking you could either put fish in it or you could float in it. Was my thought when I was designing.
What does
'cause
that
sometimes
remind
they would
me of
use
from
these to
Zelda?
like get like fish.
I have
in
no
it.
idea.
Looks
Or
like
to
it's
scoop
holes,
the fish
though.
up.
Oh yeah, no, that's a good call.
Does it remind me of
Well,
Majora's
you
Mask?
put the fish on the net
I
on
don't
the
know.
outside,
Oh, okay.
and then you yeah
The hook looks like Maori's hook, though.
yeah it's cool. And then we have the Ice Heart Corsage.
Oh my
being
gosh,
worked
it's
on.
Frostmourne
Still work in
glove.
progress.
It's a Frostmourne glove.
It's from the art department. By it, I mean like they've got a lot of stuff, but that is
glove
what
of
we're showing
Frostmourne.
today. Thank you, amazing
cool.
artists, killing it. As
I just
per
want to
usual.
stream on animal
Moving on to
husbandry.
our
Let
phone
me
questions, I will also
see
just
how I
keep
can
the video
combine
of the
animals
Cyclops fight
and
in the
I
background
how
so you
and
have
how I
something
can make a
to look
golem
at whilst
pet.
I ask the questions. First question
Hopefully
is
your
from Nick.
golem pet turns out better
Wait,
than the
actually,
golem
let's
game because
do,
that thing flopped.
studio updates first.
Oh, studio
Yeah,
updates.
let's
I
talk
absolutely
studio
love
updates
these
as well.
gloves.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
that's
the
a
gloves are
good
cool.
question.
Frostmourne gloves.
What's in our studio updates
I
for
want 'em.
this month? Well, I think our general studio update has
Well,
been that we're continuing to
Phone
hire.
great. Phone me.
So we hired a lot within
of course
like
it's
even
across
the
the room.
last
Hold on.
month.
I know, yeah. I think we've hired
You'd be surprised. I don't
20,
care if my phone is
like 7 people this year so far.
I'm in the house.
Yeah.
Great talent added to the team. Amazing individuals. Thank you guys for your help out there and
He
spreading
looks
the
like
word
Impa,
for
Breath of the
the
Wild
project
version. The elderly lady who gives you the
you know,
tooth.
supporting
Yeah,
us
I think
because
that's
that
it.
obviously helps some talent get
That was a
attracted
text
to,
from my
to
sister
working on
who's
this,
also watching
this
the stream.
awesome game.
We have so many people where
ow.
we have to expand. We're getting another
Correct.
floor.
We have another floor incoming, another 30 some odd thousand square feet. It'll be nice. We got some construction that'll be starting here in the next month or so. That's going to be an interesting juggling act.
Oh,
yeah,
it will. I'll be playing a tank and have a pet, and it will be able to tank half as much as me.
I don't know. It's just been heads down.
We will be the
It's
double
been
team.
hiring a lot. It's been everybody working really hard towards our milestones. I know we talk about these, and you guys don't have
Hi,
context
Sister
of like, the
Artifact.
timelines for
Oh my
them.
gosh.
But we have sprints, and then a certain amount of sprints within a milestone, and so like these are ways for us to track in order to see how far we're coming along. And we have like a big milestone coming up, end of July.
Yes.
Or end of June. Early
June, yeah.
July. So, you know, people are just powering through this last sprint, working really hard and getting prepared for it. So, you know, we're working hard to make sure that you guys get Alpha 2. That's obviously our next milestone. That's going to be external for you guys to be able to play test and experience. And, you know, there will be some pre-tests before Alpha 2 that PI and, you know, other folks will be able to enjoy and test out with us. Probably more NDA'd, and then we'll get into more of the testing that's expansive, that everyone gets to see and check out. Steven over
Sorry,
there.
I noticed someone said something about a mug, and
The mug looks so small back there. When Steven put it down, I was like, it looks so tiny, and then he picks it up and it's
baby
like
mug. It's a baby mug.
Yeah, I'm really excited for merch. I know that people have been asking about it. I think it's a balancing act of some folks want it.
I will
some folks
say
are
I
like,
was
"Why are you
hoping
selling
they'd
merch?"
show some sneak peeks on
but
Summoner, Bard,
we're
and
working towards it,
Rogue.
homies.
Yes, we are working towards that. And in addition,
No, everyone in the fight
I
was
will give,
established classes
a
already.
brief kind of statement that in the near future, over the coming, I would say, few months, we will be discontinuing our pre-order packages. We'll be making that announcement when it happens, but the number of participants that we have for Alpha 2 as it stands currently is significant. And until we are certain that we want to host additional players, at some point in the next 3 months, I would say probably, we will be discontinuing those packages, and we'll have updates if we want to offer different packages at some point in the future after the Alpha 2 testing succeeds. So look forward to that announcement. We'll give you ample time ahead of time so that if there are individuals who still want to participate, they'll have an opportunity to do so, but I did want to give that heads up.
He's like, Alpha 2's getting crowded. Stop buying
Steve
it.
said we will give heads up. We'll make in a news post about those things. We'll make you guys clear. We always do an FAQ for those types of things as well, usually, so we try to answer the questions in advance, or if questions come up, we update our FAQ to include that. So we will give more information as those things come online and come to fruition. But we have been hearing your feedback. There are things that Steven and I and Brian Langford, who you've seen on the channel before, and Jacob, who's our lead producer.
I think I caught Margaret off guard. We didn't intend to make that
you
announcement.
didn't tell me
but
that.
I wanted
okay.
to give enough. I wanted to give enough lead time. You know, just say.
I think
transparent
preemptively
that
giving
this is
people
what we're talking.
expectations.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we're working towards. And obviously, I've been bringing this to Steven's attention for a long time with like folks' feedback in regards to it. But there are reasons why we do have the cosmetic packs.
There it
and they have
is.
been assisting
Better
us
get
in many
ready
ways.
to buy
so
it.
thank you
Alpha
all
2,
so much
Pete.
for helping us. And it's also pushing forward a lot of the content.
gotta buy my
so
key
we'll still
soon.
probably have some semblance of cosmetics.
Y'all
but
better
maybe
get
they'll be
jumped
less
into
exclusive and more rotational things
words.
like that. So if you do have thoughts,
Stopped
feel free to,
working.
let us know. We're always interested in hearing. We've definitely been reading your feedback. We've heard it, and we're going to be making some.
See, now I'm coughing.
All right.
See, I wasn't
Yes,
lying
this
on
is the thing
cotton.
we've been discussing. I was not prepared for that.
I know. I'm so sorry. I mean, we know the direction. We know what we're gonna do. So I just thought I'd give the heads up.
Yeah,
Because I know
I'm
people.
fine with
People like to watch and see what the cosmetics are.
Do
Before
I
they
really
choose
want
to
the
whether or
wedding
not they
cake
wanna actually
cosmetics?
purchase a
No.
package.
No,
I
you
wanted
don't.
to let them know, like, we're months away from that being discontinued. So if you are interested in something, you know.
For sure. And then next up, we do have our Q&A, so we'll
It's
get
okay.
to
My
that.
cosmetics don't look that
As I
great
mentioned
either.
before, I'll have
Hell
the
yeah,
Cyclops
brother.
fight
Gotta
in
keep
the
the
background.
country accent
So
alive.
our first
us.
question here is from Nick about
Keep
party
the
dynamics.
country can
Can we hit
alive
our
us.
party mate to
alive
wake him
us.
up from
Hell
slumber,
yeah, brother.
perhaps
Gotta
if
keep
both
the
of us are
country accent
flagged?
alive. Us.
So I guess if someone gets
So
slept.
not your party mate, because you can't flag against your party mate. That is a restriction that's not.
You can't
allowed.
flag your party, mate.
However, if you were not in a party, yes, you could attack them to wake them up and break the sleep. In addition, there will also be spells that can be cast to break enchantments, and sleep is one of
Spells
the,
to
one of the
break
enchantments that can be
enchantment.
broken through
Don't
spell
die,
tests.
Art.
So if you're a cleric in your party or a bard, they'll have the ability to kind of
I'm close.
to remove the negative debuff.
Yeah, and kind of going back to the previous discussion we had in the studio update regarding cosmetic packs, if you have a Kickstarter pack, you can still upgrade that. So that
Correct, yeah.
that'll still be upgradable.
And as we've said in the past, before we decide to discontinue the upgrade paths for the Kickstarters, we will give ample
Oh,
notice
Art,
as well.
guess
for that.
what? What?
And then Volts wants to know about PvP quests. Will there be quests that players can put players against each other / encourage PvP? For example, an organization's quest for the Traders Guild contradicted by a Thieves Guild quest.
I'm gonna be moving to a
absolutely.
full
There are
one-bedroom
quests that interact with
apartment
PvP.
in like
PvP is not
2 months.
a secondary component of
Oh,
the
there
game.
you go.
PvP is an equitable component.
Get
of
out
the
of your
game.
little
Remember,
cave
we are
and
a
upgrade it to a
PvX
big
game,
cave.
which means that we emphasize
Good for you, man. I'm
both
proud of you.
PvE quest lines and story modes and content, as well as PvP. It is an intended design theory for Ashes of Creation that the world is not filled with just your friends. The world is also filled with adversaries. And because of that, we will provide opportunities to encourage social friction, and that may be in the form of these PvP-oriented quest lines.
All right. And then our next one is about looting. From
Watching
Azrael.
Ashes of Creation
Will
makes me want to
it
play
be
a D&D
possible
game.
to kick
like
a player from a
legitimately.
party or raid just before killing a boss, or to deny them from their share of the loot?
Will it be possible to, I'm sorry, say it last part.
Exactly.
Will it be
You
possible
gotta
to-
keep
possible to
moving
kick a
up in the
player
cave
from a
size.
raid,
Yeah,
like, right
no,
before
you
you
gotta
do
keep
loot so
upgrading
that
your
they don't
cave
get to be
dwelling.
part of the loot.
Yes, technically it would be possible for you to
Loot.
kick a player prior to acquiring loot. However, again, because we are a game that relies on social interactions, there are reputations to be had. And if you acquire a reputation as a raid leader or as a party leader of doing something dirty like that, then it's unlikely you'll be able to garner the support.
Okay, I stand by that Ashes of Creation has potential to be the most toxic game ever.
And Hrothgar
Like the
wants to
toxicity in
know
this
about
game
respawning.
could be really,
will
really
there
bad.
be a custom respawn, or will there be custom respawn points that can be placed by players in the open world, or only checkpoint-based respawn points like the nearest graveyard / city to
Yeah.
respawn?
Yeah, there will not be custom respawn points that can be placed in the world.
And then Gartok wants to know about open world distractions. Since
Saturdays
travel
I
times
play
are
in a
important,
Skyrim
what is there
D&D
to
campaign.
discover that
I'm
will
always
distract you
I'm
from
always
going
up
straight
to
your
jump into a
initial
D&D
destination?
game, but
What
there
makes
aren't
traveling
many
adventurous
people
in
who
Vera?
pay to
Well,
play
aside
now
from
or something.
threat and opportunity, which are probably
They're making
the two
people.
biggest
No,
distractions that you
what's
can encounter
happening
while
is
traveling to
Wizards
Vera.
of the Coast is kind of dumb, and they saw the money
those
Critical
come in
Role
different
was making,
forms.
and they're
Threat in
like,
the form
"So,
of
we
monsters
want a
and
piece of that
events,
money."
Opportunities in the forms of resources
And so if you're doing like
POIs, there's
a
also
custom
achievements that are
campaign
based
and you're making
around,
money off it,
exploration,
D&D's
there's
like,
treasure
we want
maps
a
that can
chunk
be
of that.
found, there's a
And
lot of
everyone's like,
different
no, this is
things that kind
stupid.
of intersect
And then
with
Wizards of the
travel.
Coast is like, okay, JK,
the
just
movement
kidding.
of resources, the storage of those resources in which locations, what are available
Now
to
the
be sold
toxicity
and
will
purchased
probably
at
be
different
like
locations,
BDO,
might
where
be a
you
detour
will
for you.
die so early
You
that
know,
you
all of
forget
those
the
things
game
kind of
is even
contribute to
PvP.
why I would go somewhere and instead
I didn't get that far in
change my
BDO,
direction.
actually. I got to the well.
And then
I got to the
Kestai wants
well,
to
and
know about
then
double jumping. Have you considered
ADHD
implementing
happened,
double
and I never
jumping
picked it
into
up
the
again.
game at all? Maybe not with player characters, but possibly with mounts, since there is already flying and gliding.
Yeah, we've considered double jumping for as essentially
Oh, gotcha. That is
as a
stupid.
mount
though.
ability.
Yep. No,
as
Wizards of the
well.
Coast kind of
We've considered double
Hopping
jump as an
mounts.
option.
dumbass
Yeah,
themselves.
Like frogs
They're-
and bunnies.
That's right.
Even
Little
Critical
Smash
Role is
Bros.
like,
actions
screw
in there.
you, and they went and made their own
And
game.
Triple jump.
next up, we've got DougBug27, which is just an adorable username. Ranged melee is their topic. After watching the mage yield the greatsword, I wondered if the ranger archetype will have melee-oriented abilities
My
to
goodness.
allow for a more balanced fighting style, or will the bow always be bay?
So a ranger definitely exemplifies range, meaning that the majority of their skill tree will likely be abilities that are based on range. However, that does not preclude them from having options in their skill suite to spec into melee-based ability types. Right? We're not creating a very singularly focused ranger. They will have the opportunity to comprise a skill rotation set that includes melee options, utilities, mobilities, ranged options as part of the class.
And then Golid wants to know about AoE dynamics.
I
In many
think
PvP
the
MMOs,
TI.
AoE spam
I think
can
the
quickly become the
toxicity
meta and be
might come
difficult to
and
balance
go
with simple
like a
damage
shitstorm.
adjustments.
If you
More
can just
recent
outlast
MMOs
it,
solve this
they will
problem
move on.
by not having
I've
the
died
same
like 10
layered
times in an
AoE
open
spell,
world in like 4 years.
stack
Red
damage at all.
Battlefield,
What
I
is
have died a
Intrepid
lot
doing to
more
combat
than
AoE spam?
10 times. Oh,
We have
but
a few
we don't
ideas
count
on
those
how we want to
deaths.
approach AoEs.
AoEs.
There's a vein of thought that is regarding diminishing returns, maximum number of targets. I'm not a huge fan of that. There is diminishing return as it applies to damage conveyed.
Melee Ranger, guess that'll be what I do.
You know, just the fact that we're a collision-based game and there's a limited number of
I'm
bodies.
still
that can be
hell-bent
located
on
in
being a
particular
sexy
choke point
redhead
proximity.
barbarian chick.
You know, there's still things that we're testing especially as part of Alpha 2 that we'll likely be testing and wanted to get player feedback on, as it relates to curbing the AoE approach of most raid comps. And you know, a lot of different games have done a lot of different things to achieve that. We're going to be testing a lot of these different directions and finding which works best for Ashes.
Right. And then Sunscript wants to know about dual wielding. If the dual wield system is flexible, will there be a reliable way to activate the weapon procs of the offhand weapon?
If the dual wield specs are, say that one more time.
Flexible. Will there be a
That
reliable
question
way to
broke
activate
Steven.
the
He's
weapon
like, what?
procs of the offhand
He's
weapon?
like, what?
So dual wielded weapons, I believe, have a designated weapon skill tree.
I just rolled a 1 on my
based on the
D20. That's a
combination
great
of
sign.
dual wielded weapons. And so based on the type of dual wield weapons, will determine the available procs in the weapon skill tree. Will there be a way to reliably ensure that procs take effect? Is that the question? Because no, I would say that you can't reliably create a scenario. Yeah, exactly. You can't reliably create a scenario where the procs.
I respect it, no matter what my main will be a tank, since tanks are always needed. If you guys need a tank, I'll be your guy. If a random needs a tank, I'll be that tank's guy.
Attack will trigger
no, I enjoy tanking too.
There could be synergies there between the skill rotation
Not in Final Fantasy.
And the weapon skill tree. But I would say no, by the very nature of what a proc is, they're not reliable.
No, I don't mind tanking in Final Fantasy once you know what you're doing.
And Phantom MX wants to know about crafting. How close are we to seeing a showcase on crafting?
We are pretty close.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
I think you've been seeing kind of some of those things coming. We had
like what, it was like 6 months ago we did a the gatherables one, but the crafting one is pretty close, so stay tuned.
Yeah, we're plotting and planning. And with that, that's our last question for today.
Oh my
Yay.
Goodness.
I know,
that wasn't
it's not
bad.
Sometimes we have like 2-hour long streams.
Margaret was like, "Don't make an hour-long video," and I was like, "Wait, what?"
I have been getting way better at mouse
try
and
to make
keyboard
it like
too.
15 to 20
Good
minutes.
for you.
Here
I
should
haven't
run a
even
show,
practiced.
and then it.
I have not
you
even
guys enjoy
touched
it.
the
You
mouse
guys
and
enjoy
keys since we played
watching them.
Dungeons and
Hopefully
Dragons
you've been
Online.
enjoying the new format
art!
that we've been doing recently and liking that. We always take your feedback, so please send it our way. And we hope that you have enjoyed getting a little sneak peek at one of our boss fights. We want your feedback, so definitely head on over to forums.ashesofcreation.com and send us your feedback. We will also have a boss mechanic
Boss
discussion
mechanic.
coming up that will be not specific to
Summoner,
Cyclops.
Ranger, Pirate,
So
and
we
Pirate
would
Rogue,
love
X-Blow.
to get your thoughts on that. Make sure that you read those prompts. You don't
There's a
necessarily have
pirate?
to give feedback just on those prompts, but give
Anton
us feedback on that so that we can
Dovodatus,
report that to the development
Explorer.
team. And of course, we want to extend
Summoner,
a huge thank
Ranger,
you to you all for
Pirate,
coming here and
and
watching
a
us
Ranger
live, or if
Rogue,
you're watching us on YouTube, we appreciate you. And of course, to the developers who joined us today.
I have a game for us
you know,
to play.
Trad, Jason,
I just
and Doug,
started
we
into
appreciate
it,
y'all joining us.
but
and
it's
of course,
not out
Steven,
on
we know that your
PC.
time is very,
I
very
think
valuable.
we should all play
so we hope that you
Warlander.
all, you know, are
What
staying
is
safe
Warlander?
and healthy. And
You're gonna make me
reminder that the VOD
Google
will
this
be
on
up
my
on
phone? What
the
is
4K
Warlander?
VOD will be up on our YouTube channel shortly, so stay tuned. And we'll also have the full development update over on our YouTube channel tomorrow. And if you leave a comment on the full development update and
Warlander.
you're subscribed and you have it so that we can see that you're subscribed,
Console game.
you may get your comment spotlighted. So yeah, you could be spotlighted on the next stream. And of course, follow us on all of the social platforms: Twitter,
Oh,
Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat,
I've heard about this
whatever,
game.
whatever is your jam. We try to keep you guys up to date and share lots of goodies
Maybe.
with you almost every day. So if you're interested in more Ashes and Varen goodness in your life, come check it out.
Oh, PS5
And with that,
games?
we're gonna
Of
wrap
course
up
you
for
find this
today.
one.
We hope that you have a great
I'm gonna
rest
make
of
you Google
May.
it.
It's the rest of this day. That's it. We're in June, you guys. It's madness.
No.
And we'll see you for our
Yeah,
June
no,
development update.
2023 is halfway done.
Bye, everyone.
It's on PC too, though. Yeah, I know. I saw the Steam thing. Oh. Well, that was Ashes of Creation dev update. Not in a nutshell. They showed off the big Cyclops with the tree and... So, my final thoughts are... I liked it. I just feel like... I don't know. I do think they should call world bosses, and raid bosses, right? I don't think they should be the same thing. Don't be so depressed, Art. Yay, June, almost my birthday. Oh, happy birthday. Don't be so depressed, Art. Oh, okay, I gotta start from the... Beastmaster for pirates, life on the open sea. Scouts for exploring the wilds. Yay, June, it's almost my birthday. Don't be so depressed, Art. Thank you for the reaction stream. You are welcome. But, I don't know. I almost felt like the world boss was a little too easy. No one was really dying. But again, you know, they're devs, so they probably know how the fights work. I like the world boss a lot more than Final Fantasy XIV fights. That comment is just going to get silenced from me because I am a Final Fantasy XIV guy. But, yeah. You know, hoorah. If anything, I feel like the raid boss should be a bit more challenging. Maybe hit a little harder. Because I didn't feel the threat, right? People weren't under 50% health until like the second half. And I think the only reason why they call it a raid boss is because you will have to have a full raid party to take it down. I guess, but I still think they should call it a world boss if it's just one running around the world. I'm so hungry. I still want that Sonic burger that I saw an ad for like 88 minutes ago. I saw a Sonic ad and I still want Sonic.
Car designers can shape a piece of clay into a piece of art. So why don't they?
I don't know. You tell
At
me.
Nissan, things are different. They design cars that look like swords. Gladiators. The future. Or... wow. Nissan knows what thrill looks like. Because they design it into every car they make.
I hate the iPod. I hate the iPod for the dash. Being an iPod, it drives me nuts. It looks so bad. The 2024 Mustang is doing that crap too, and it looks awful. Yeah. I don't like dancing on... Okay. Oh, look at that. That looks so good. Oh, especially the biscuit thing. That looks... The croissant looks so good right now. Oh, I'm so hungry. This isn't even an Ashes stream. I don't know. The second half just derailed into something. Okay. I don't like dancing on the AoE kaleidoscope when psychedelic fireworks rain down on you style fights in Final Fantasy. I'm wondering if they have turned up the difficulty of the mobs yet. They said back in the Cleric showcase the mob difficulty was not as hard as they wanted it to be. So, maybe, yeah. Maybe they just didn't turn up the difficulty on this one, too. I just feel like a big ogre carrying a tree should hit harder than it did, you know? But that being said, Frostmourne gloves were, like, the coolest thing. It was after... Wait, I gotta find Super Zane Timon again. Yeah, I lost it. This. I think this is so cool. Frostmourne gloves. He is skipping Anton's comments entirely. Sigh. Sorry, Anton. I like the swan, to be honest. Yeah, no, the swan's okay. Where is the swan? Yeah, this head is kind of stupid. He's like, it's like, let's kill him. Let's kill him. Let's kill him. Let's kill him. There's something on my wing. That's how I feel at party. I'm this head. I'm like, I have no idea what's going on, guys. I'm just here. I'm just attached to these guys. But, yeah, I've milked this stream long enough. So what do you have to do with anything? What is this? That guy's cool. But, yeah. That's all I have. I'm not gonna milk this stream any longer than I have to. We've been going an hour and a half. And so, yeah. If you made it this far into the stream or the VOD or whatever it is at the time, you have my sincerest thank yous. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Artifact out.